All right. Tell you guys what, it has been one heck of a week. We'll let everybody take a moment to jump on here. I think that it's been pretty interesting this last week. I hope everybody's doing really well. We'll see. See what you guys have to say. This week's Shift Drink is brought to you by Canada Dry. Having a little ginger ale. Not feeling 100%. But whatever. You know, we keep on trucking. We keep on doing what we do, right? Keep on doing what we do. Hope everybody else is feeling decent. You know, it's an interesting little bit of time. We've seen a couple of spikes in our county. So they've Newsom, I think today in California, closed the bars. I have to take some time and read that article and see what's going on. But anyway, I am Chef JoJo with Extreme Culinary Outfitters. Welcome to Shift Drink Live, where we discuss, weekly topics and the thoughts that I have been working on over the week, or just, it's kind of like my version of an editorial, if you will. Tasty. But, today's topic has been kind of interesting. The situation, let me see if I can see. Okay, there we go. I had to move some stuff. So for those of you who do not know, on our Facebook page, we started a group called the R&D Brigade by Extreme Culinary Outfitters. And the idea behind this is to create a smaller group, not like the 100,000 or whatever it might be that we have. Just a smaller group that we can work with each other to try to hold each other accountable while we achieve our goals. And I just recently uploaded our first activity. If you guys want to go and check it out, it's a group on our Facebook page. So you can just look up R&D Brigade by ECO. It's like little workshops and stuff that I come up with to try to get us to be better than we were yesterday. I think that's the main reason why I started ECO a long time ago, is to find a different, and a second revenue stream or something like that. And I thought it'd be cool to own my own business, and I wasn't going to own my own restaurant at the time. And so this first exercise that I put together for everybody is basically, it's a little self-awareness exercise, and then it's like a goal initiatives that you write down on paper. And, oh man, where did I set mine? Oh, okay, here's mine. And, it was interesting because I hadn't done the exercise in a while. And I've been doing it with culinary students that are trying to get started in the industry to kind of help them focus and help them really see what their strengths and weaknesses are, and like what their dream job is. What's going to make you excited to wake up in the morning and when you go to work. So it'd been a while since I actually did it. So I took the time and I walked the people through it inside our group. I can't wait to see what people come up with, or to be honest, if they even do it. I mean, it's a very telling little exercise of self-reflection and goal setting. And sometimes that's really hard. In fact, I had a really difficult time getting it started. I wanted something for us to, I wanted something nice that would bind us, and then we'd all know what everybody's goals are. And at the same time, I was a little apprehensive, like, are people going to think it's weird or anything like that? But it's the point of it is that I did it, and I'm really happy that I did, because it kind of let me realign, reassess what I wanted to really kind of work for out there. What are my goals? Like, what do I want to see in the future? And what would I like to see my life to be like, 3 years, 5 years? And we all know that you can't plan that far ahead, but I've always been a planner. I'm a list guy. I like to write lists and make sure that I'm following, like that's how I feel organized. But anyway, so the one that I wanted to talk to everybody about today was, I actually wrote down the idea of owning my own restaurant. There, I said it. And I think part of this stems from a really good friend of mine, an amazing chef. He just opened his restaurant in Detroit. It's called the Detroit Grill House. You guys can go and follow him on Facebook. Awesome guy. Amazing guy. Darren bailed us out a mini a derby. Just a delight to work for. Very smart. Understood bulk prep, understood what needed to happen, and he got it done. So he's opened his place. He took the plunge right now during the crazy times that it is, and his Facebook page looks great. His food that he's posting looks good. The drinks look even better. I'm super excited for him. And, you know, a long time ago, Chef Paul wrote an article, and it was that give and take that a lot of chefs get, like, am I going to own my own place, or am I going to work for somebody else, or just go into hotels, all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, the reason why I got into this business is I thought that it would be really cool to own my own restaurant. That's what I mean. I thought I loved cooking, and I thought, oh man, how cool would it be if that's what I got to do every day, is own my own restaurant. And that was like over 20 years ago. And I had no idea how tough the business was, and just in general, had no idea what I was setting myself up for, the disappointment and the excitement and the pressure and all of those things that, you know, we talk about. It's not easy. It's not an easy business. And I haven't actually ever owned my own restaurant yet. I've opened, you know, I've had a catering company and all that kind of stuff, but I've never had a brick and mortar restaurant that belonged to me with my name on the deed. And not to say that I'm going to do that tomorrow, but I think it's an interesting question. How many of you guys out there set out in the beginning to own your own restaurant? That was the deal. That's all you ever wanted. And then, I don't know, life took over, things happened. Maybe you opened and closed a restaurant and you're still doing it. Maybe you're doing it for somebody else. I think that the majority of chefs really do often think about being able to do it on their own. That's my opinion. And then there's some guys that are like, I would never want to own my own restaurant. I just want to be able to leave it there. I've never been able to leave it there. I've never been able to leave the job at the job. I've gotten better at it over the years to try to find balance when I'm with the family. And it was just interesting. I don't know if it's free time. I don't know if I'm like wanting something that maybe I miss the excitement that was every day of, you know, at the arena and stuff. And right now I don't know when that's going to open back up. And, you know, everybody's getting, you know, we're shutting bars down. Cousin One TT on YouTube, he says, yeah, same here in Texas. Texas is struggling because they opened and now it's starting to spread. There's a lot going on, right? And I can't stop thinking about opening my own place. Now, that would be really hard to say because I love my job. I love the people I work with. I think it's down the road. I think maybe I just want to. So my goal is to run the business plan backwards and forwards over and over again and really dig in and put myself to the test and screws. Run it just like I was running it for somebody else, but not open it. I'm not going to do that right away. But I'm telling you guys, it's been like something I've been thinking about over the past couple of days, maybe a week. And I think there's apprehension. My job is amazing. It's got everything that I want, but there's no way I'll ever own the arena, right? I think I'm just looking for that rush inside the restaurant, you know, something I get to say it's mine. It's been a pleasure watching Darren get after it. And I was talking with last week, if you guys didn't see that episode with Jay Sheffe, young man from Atlanta, crushing it, you know, mixology classes, cooking, private chef, and just trying to go after it. And, you know, that ambition of carving your own path, sometimes I miss that a little bit. I mean, we get to do a lot of interesting and amazing things at work, good people, exciting events, but the idea and the notion of owning it, making it mine, being able to make the food that I want to make. And it's not like I don't get that opportunity now, but I don't know. What is your thought on that? some of you guys have gone out there and done it. Joe says that I've never had the desire to take the risk of opening my own place. I've seen so many restaurants fail. Me too. Man, I've closed more restaurants than I've opened, kind of thing. You know, you always got the job interview because the chef was getting fired and the place was going down and you needed to turn it around, and then you had the job, and you know, next thing you know, checks aren't passing or cashing, and you're racing to the bank, and you know, you're trying to figure out how to feed your family, and then everybody loses something in the business. I don't know if it's nostalgia. I don't know if it's because I haven't walked in a kitchen where it's cranking in a while. But I tell you what, it's something that I just thought I would throw out there, and I would love to get your feedback on it. I would love to understand, you know, where your head's at on the whole thing. You know, to own or not to own? That's the question. And Paul does a really good job in his article. It's something that I'll probably toy with, and nothing crazy. It's not like I want to run a Michelin star. Yeah, well, that'd be pretty freaking awesome. I would need backers for that. But like, I really, I think I'm going to start taking small little notes again and getting that juice back, and playing with the idea of, you know, what does it look like? Is it a little barbecue spot? Does it just do tacos and margaritas? Simple wins, right? Simple wins. And, you know, it could be something that I do in my later years. It could be, that's what I'm thinking. But it's funny how our minds work, right? Some of us want to jump right in and go for it. And I love that about it. And then some of us are like, no, I just want to cook and I want to do it. Oh, Chef MD on YouTube says, I've never been out of work this long in my life. Went from 70 plus hours a week to nothing. I hear you. We're not cooking because, you know, we're not open. We're changing things. It's tough. Like, you know, I like going 1,000 miles a minute and to just stop. And then, you know, we're on our 14th week, 15th week. And now I'm like, oh, it'd be so great to own my own place. Yeah, Julio says it right here. Looking at the revenue makes you want to own, but operating expenses don't. Laugh out loud. And then my boy Michael Blaze, I know he's got ideas. He's got ideas for days what to do. I love to kind of play with the idea. I guess that's the most exciting part, is that creativity for it. And I think Julio has a huge point, right? You look at the revenue, you look what you could do with it, and then, you know, you got to take the plunge, and so many people fail. That's why I think I love our community, because we go for it sometimes. And, you know, if you guys are in Detroit, you guys need to check out Darren's place, Detroit Grill House, the one that has kind of spawned this little conversation that I've got, or this desire, if you will. It's been a good week. Besides, you know, listening to all the stuff with the COVID and trying to figure out when we're going to open again, and now we're seeing spikes, so who knows when we're going to actually be able to do this. But watching people go for it, watching them fight. I got to get Chris Sorn on, who's been like crushing it. He's actually really going for it. Let's look over this comment real quick. Chef, for me, love collecting my paycheck. Being an executive chef has enough stress already. Laugh out loud. Yes, right? As the exec chef, you get to come in, you get to collect the paycheck, and there's enough stress. Can you imagine having the 80 people like looking at you? And when you are trying to figure out how to pay their bills and make sure that you're okay and all these people depend on you, yeah, it's definitely there. But guys, I tell you, it's been it's been eating at me, and I think I'm romanticizing it. I think that if you want to be profitable, if you want to make money, you open a place, and you open it with the mind that you're going to open more than one, and open it with the mindset that you don't want to get trapped there, right? But then again, the toughest part about it is, like, I had friends that had a place, and, you know, 10 or 11 years, there was only one vacation a year. I only had Mondays off, and, you know, you have to really kind of build upon that momentum. On Facebook, Daniel is saying that, once you get it going and it's been about 3 or 4 years and it's doing well, then you need to open another place and start building this long-term business plan. And hell, all I want to do is like smoke brisket and sell them until I'm out. I'm romanticizing the ins and outs of what we do. And trust me, I know how to run a food and beverage business. I've been doing it for a long time, but putting my stamp on it and saying that, hey, JoJo's Smokehouse or whatever it is, there's something to be said for that. I just thought I would share like where my head's at during this craziness. Here I am running this major property. We've got a lot going on, and we're trying to pivot. And when I'm driving home, I daydream, or I'm just thinking like, man, it'd be pretty cool if I had this really big smoker grill and I was doing pork butts and briskets, and I'd keep it small. And I like that idea. Anyway, the exercise was fun. It brought back a lot of stuff that I think I want to start working on again. You guys can always check it out. I'd love to have more involved in it, keeping us all accountable. There's a good group in there now that inspires me every day. They might not know how much they inspire me, but they really, really do, because they're getting after it in their own and on their own path. So I think we can learn that from each other, and that's hard. It's hard to find a group that's pushing you. Yeah. Oh, Julio's smoking briskets now, dude. Yeah, I've seen some of your pictures of the briskets. They're looking great, and there's just something about it. Super easy smoking meat, not easy, but enjoyable. There's some great people out there trying to make a difference in our industry. You can always check out some of them. You could always check out Chef Paul, harvestamerica.com, I believe, or .org. He writes some of the articles that we share all the time. You can go to Coarse Grind Podcast. Sean Rossler, he does a great job of interviewing a lot of the Top Chef alumni. He's right in the thick of it. Yeah. And then you can always check out our Leave It on the Lines. I'm going to be reaching out to some of these guys that are hitting us up and doing some really long, in-depth talks about what got them started, what do they see the industry going, and how they're going to pivot. I can't wait. I'll probably, I'm going to hit up three of the guys that are on here now. Maybe Mike and Julio and Cheeto will volunteer to have a Leave It on the Line. I also go, I'm excited. I got my buddy John Nicely. I've bragged about John a lot. He's the one that I interviewed, and I talked to Jay Sheffe about this. He's the one that put up with my 2 hour and 15-minute questions when I first decided to go into S&E, Gina really pushed me to go to S&E, but John's interview was very patient and kind, and it made a difference in my life. It's totally changed my whole life. I've met a lot of great people because of that decision, and that wouldn't have happened if I would have opened my own place. It's not that I'm disappointed or want to change anything, because that's not really the point. I think I'm just picking at something that I think a lot of us think about, right? We come up with these little concepts, or at least people that I associate, like I'm with a lot or talk to a lot. They're always coming up with an idea or a business plan or something, and they just tweaking it. And I think chefs really do like to tweak or make sure it's better or what could be different. Anyway, that's my 2 cents this week, or 20 cents, or whatever you want to call it. I really am glad to see everybody's doing as well as they can out there. I mean, hell, what are you going to do? You got to do what you can, and just really kind of focus. And, oh, look, Cheeto made a really good point. Chef Cheeto, franchise, that's where the money is at. Yeah, if you can design the concept to franchise it and make sure that it's got a nice opening plan and anybody can do it, and then you charge the fees for it, hey, giddy up. I think Andrew Grohl, who did Slapfish out here in OC, I think he's franchising and he's doing quite well. He's on his 4th or 5th or whatever restaurant, and, he is making it happen. So there's those guys that find those success. U.S. chefs don't like to follow recipes. Yeah, I know, we don't. But I think it's the only way to stay consistent, right? I think that if you listen to Jean-Georges talks about everybody measuring. The only thing that they don't measure is the little bit of the salt when they season the proteins. but everything else is measured. I think that that's what we all need to do. We don't follow other people's recipes. Very well said, Joe. The debate on YouTube is getting there. The toughest thing, and you guys, I'm gonna say this and then we'll go. I don't know how many restaurants I've walked into and been the guy that's either gonna take it over or change it or help it get back into a profitable state. And you ask them where the recipe is, and it's a dried up, beat up 3-ring binder that's over on a shelf that's covered in every salad dressing and every sauce that's ever been made in the place. And the recipe is outdated and it's old. And it's the original recipe. And then when you pull it out and then you ask, you start looking at it and they go, oh, no, we changed that recipe a while ago. You need to get Billy or Frank to show you how to make the dressing. The green goddess dressing. The only person that can make the green goddess dressing is, Frank. But, when this person makes the tuna fish salad, it's the best. So we have to get him to make it. No recipe, just the person that makes it. And then how do you know if you're being consistent? How do you know what your product's like when your customers come in? And how much it costs to make it if you're not following the recipe? Anyway, that's 2 cents. I got a quick question. What's your favorite rub for a brisket? I just recently did the master class with Franklin Barbecue, and he does salt and pepper. I've done several like that. And then recently I'd always made a dry rub that I make, and it's my recipe. And I was messing with it this last time. I think it might be a little strong on the paprika, but I make my dry rubs. So like a barbecue spice. And that's kind of the way I kind of keep it. But I tell you what, if you want a good class, take that barbecue class by Franklin. He does a really good job of breaking it down and not making it so crazy. But his rub is yellow mustard, salt, and pepper mix, and his ratio is there. You can probably find a YouTube clip of it somewhere. Blaze is throwing out, now we just follow the instructions on the box. Well, sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes you don't. Anyway, I love chatting with you guys. Hopefully sometime this week we're going to drop a Leave It On the Line. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Our masks are still doing really well. I don't have one over here because I just washed them. Wore 2 of them all week. They do a great job. They go over the head. You can get 1 for $6 or 2 for $10. And we'll try to get some out. We're running through them pretty quickly. But you can always go to our shop, Extreme Culinary Outfitters.com, and pick up some of our gear. And be on the lookout for our next Leave It On the Line or shift drink. Until next time, guys, cheers. You guys, be safe.